Awesome.
Chris,
yeah, I think it's
what
like
is
just
up, brother? How you doing?
Yes, what is going on, Jace? All good. How's your day going?
Hey, pretty good, man. Just, getting some work done. I'm kid free for the next day. So
that's awesome. So tell everyone where you're calling out from, because obviously I'm in the UK. It's coming up 5 p.m. so 5:30 p.m. in the UK. Just tell the guys who don't know you where you're calling from.
So I'm in Fort Wayne, Indiana, which is basically in the Midwest United States. It is 12:23 p.m. right now. So the miracle of the internet, man, we're connecting from all the way across the world, basically.
Yes, are you sipping on that good coffee as well? I'm on that black Americano.
You know what, man? I have water in here. I'm gonna grab a coffee here in a little bit, man. So
yeah,
are you one of those crazy
good. So
coffee all black or what?
Yeah, I just go black coffee, no milk, no sugar, just like all the Facebook guys know. I'm a bit obsessed with that. 4 or 5 cups a day keeps me going, and yeah, all good. So Jace, why don't we move into just telling everyone a bit more about you, exactly what you're into, what you've been doing in the last few years in terms of Kindle, other business ventures, and just giving people a little more of a background about who Jason Bracht is.
Yeah, sure, man. So in 2013. I've been doing internet-based businesses since 2007 is when I first started. I started an e-commerce store. And we'll just jump ahead. In 2013 is where most people are kind of knowing me now, which is Kindle. I got heavily involved in Kindle publishing and haven't looked back. I mean, I've been putting out a lot of books. I've created courses. I've put out a lot of YouTube videos. So it was something that when I got into it, a lot of people were like, man, there's no way you can make money with this. And, eventually I ended up making quite a bit of money with it. So that was sort of the quick background on how I got started with Amazon. And I know you're doing Amazon as well on a different level, and Kindle as well too, right?
Yeah. So my journey with Kindle, for the people that don't know, is when I was a personal trainer, just to give a little bit of a backstory. So I was a personal trainer for near 4 or 5 years in the UK, like a mixture of self-employed and employed kind of work. And one night, the personal training industry is very, it can be tough, it can be challenging. Obviously, there's a lot of hours you put into the industry with your clients, actual hours on the floor, picking weights up, cleaning, all of that stuff. That has to be done when you're working in that environment. And it became to the point of when I was working 16 hours a day. I was taking the highest wage. One point was £1,400, which is like $1,700, $1,800 in the US. For all of the hours that I was putting in, between 12 and 16 hours per day sometimes. I'm sure many of my PT homies can respect all of that and relate to that. I remember going home one night, and again, this is coming back to Kindle, and this is coming back to my venture for the people who don't know. I remember going home one night, and I honestly typed in online, how do I make money online? And all of this started to come up, and Kindle was actually one of the first avenues that popped up for that main keyword of how to make money online. And that's what I first went into. So that hour when I got home from work, I started to, and this is the advice that you told Jason not to give to people. And I only came across your channel like months after I started Kindle, because you always said, and what I live by now and should have lived by when I was doing Kindle, was focus on the quality over quantity. And what I did when I was starting out, I was just nailing out these like recipe books, these green smoothie recipe books. I was actually just pretty much doing like a copy and paste version from blogs and stuff on the internet. And it was just like, obviously that is the way to do it, but I became so infatuated by the process from the get-go. It was just like, how do I get more books? How do I get more books? And then I actually started to earn like a couple of $100 a month from it. And from there, Amazon FBA popped up, and that's where I got into my journey then. So maybe you can give a little bit about the background of how not to do Kindle as opposed to how to do it, because that was a very big failure for me in the short term.
No, it's funny that listening to your story, man, it's amazing how you can recall it in such vivid detail. Like you knew exactly where you were that night, and you know exactly the feeling. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that are going to watch these videos, and they have to have that feeling inside of them, because the passion you had for that business, even though, that's another lesson to tell people, is even though like you didn't know everything, you still took massive action. you know, and it led to another avenue, which is Amazon FBA. But we could talk Kindle, like what not to do. I mean, I guess the number one thing, and this is like for FBA too, I'm sure, is to keep your account safe, you know. And a lot of people that I know, and people that you probably know, and you know, they get their accounts banned. And so that's the thing that I would say is the most important thing, because you can always learn. I mean, you can always go back and do different things, but if you don't have your account, you can't, you know.
So in terms of keeping your account, and I wrote this within my course as well, because I think that's a very valid point. Like, you have to keep your actual account. And this is something that not many people look into. The thing that people do look into, and you know, obviously I looked into it as well when starting out, was I want to get sales so I can make money, so I can buy a new car and live a lavish lifestyle. But then in that process, if you forget the back end stuff that really needs to be paid attention to, such as, like, you know, reply, and guys, this comes down to actual seller kind of performance within your account, okay? So this is for Amazon FBA and Kindle. If you don't reply to a message within 24 hours, you get penalized by Amazon. If you don't reply to it in 48 hours, you get strike 2, and so on. So all of these things in a business in general, not just on Amazon FBA, not just in Kindle, not just on YouTube and all of that stuff. You have to do this in life in general as an overall business concept. If you're not looking after your customers and the basis where your business thrives from, then you're gonna get penalized somehow. And as you know, Amazon take that stuff very, very seriously.
Yeah, man, it's especially on the FBA side. I know Kindle's probably a little bit more forgiving. I actually had an issue with Amazon FBA. I guess we talked a little bit offline, but I've talked about this before. Is about 5 or 6 years ago when FBA was first starting. I was selling a bunch of stuff, but I broke the velocity limit. I was selling so much I couldn't keep up with my customers. They just killed my account, dude. I mean, so I would love to, and I mean, I'm sure I can petition to get back on, but I've got so many different things going. It's like the FBA thing is such an amazing opportunity, man. I don't want to not do it, but you know, there's some hurdles I'm going to have to jump to get there. So.
Yeah, we can go over all of that. I mean, like, as you know, you've been through that negative experience now to learn not to do that again. And you know, once you're back into, and let's talk Amazon FBA for a bit, once you're into that business and you've got the hardest part, Jace, that I always speak about and tell all my clients is the hardest part is product selection. And once you're past that part, it becomes a very automated business model. You know, like, in all honesty, and that's 100% truth, I do not do more than 5 to 10 minutes per day on my Amazon FBA business now. This is why, you know, I'm writing so many blogs, I'm putting so many videos out there. I'm like a little Facebook fanatic. I'm just always on Facebook. So this is why the potential of Amazon at the moment is so big. And it sometimes baffles me how little people are grasping onto it, and you know, they're still grafting at like hard-ass jobs. If you really put your mind to it and work smarter, you can develop an income that is going to serve you not only for the short term but the very long term too. So the potential is massive. So
yeah, and you know, to talk about that, you know, some people just don't want to do the entrepreneurial lifestyle. I've got friends that have seen me make a lot of money doing this stuff. And I'm like, even roommates, you know, back in the day, I was like, dude, I'm making a bunch of money. You're broke. I'll teach you. But they, you know, some people have that because I'm an entrepreneur. We have to be a risk taker. You know, some people, they want that steady earnings, which is fine. But in my opinion, if you really want to live a great life, and this is just my opinion, philosophically, you have to have some money. It's a lot easier to achieve the dreams that you want to do, travel and things like that, if you actually have some money to do it with, you know. So
yeah, I agree. So can we help some of the people on Facebook, help some of the people at your end, and drop some Kindle knowledge bombs on how to pick a profitable niche or a profitable book when they're starting on Kindle? Because I done a Facebook Live to all of you guys watching on Facebook Live. For the people on YouTube, I've got my phone set up on my desk over here, guys. So we've got like live streams going on everywhere. So I done a live video a couple of days ago on Kindle and just the basis and fundamentals of starting up. But what I didn't mention and go into too much depth was I'll call it the book selection phase. So obviously you're the Kindle king and the master at this. So I know many people on the Facebook Live and watching on YouTube right now will love to hear a bit more about that from Jace. So,
oh man,
so
you put me on the spot here, man. No,
you've got to give that help and value.
No, for sure, dude. So the first thing, we put together a free resource that all your viewers and fans can check out. You just go to spuniversity.net. So spuniversity.net. We've got the 101 most proven and profitable Kindle niches. So we put some time to put that whole list together. So that's the first thing I would start. But I would say that niche selection is really simple. It's going into, this is how I used to do it and how I still do it, is I go into the best sellers, okay? And I find, what is selling the best. You want to take what the market is giving you, and then you want to get your ideas from that. So I'll just go into Amazon, go to Kindle book section, sort by bestsellers, whatever category, nonfiction, fiction, and you'll get ideas what people are buying. I think a lot of people are like trying to reinvent the wheel. They're like, oh, I know a lot about, downhill skiing, so I'm gonna put a book out on that. Well, that might not be a great idea if not a lot of people are buying it. So I always looked at it like I want the highest chance of success. So a lot of my books were, just based off that research method right there. So that's what I would do. It's still effective, and a lot of people are still doing it. So
yeah, that's good. So Jace, can you just based off the ending of what you just said, can you just, because I've done some research on Kindle last night and this morning, and I found a load of profitable niches, not just niches, but also books specifically, which were bestsellers and which I know right now I could go in and I could take that seller tag within the next few weeks. So can you just confirm for all the people that are wondering and who are asking the question, is Kindle still alive or is it too saturated?
I think it's alive. I mean, I definitely believe it's still alive. It's one of those deals where they're cleaning it up. Back in the day, people were doing a lot of the just massive low value type of books. So it kind of got oversaturated, but they're cleaning a lot of that up. They spent a lot of time over the last year going in and taking a lot of books off that weren't of high quality. So the best way to build a Kindle business, man, is just simply to focus on the quality, focus on your brand, like you're doing, is tying it into your brand. Ghostwriting is still an important way to do it, if you want to leverage it. But yeah, I still think it's a highly viable business. I know people personally making $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month doing Kindle. So it's definitely still a viable and profitable industry to get into.
Awesome. And yeah, and what you've just said is like a great point. Early on, about a couple of minutes ago, you said we're not reinventing the wheel here. We are bringing out something that is currently on Kindle or Amazon FBA, and we're just improving on that book or product. It's exactly like a blog post on Google. If we're looking at a blog post, how to be more productive, if you want to improve on a blog post that you will write, you want to go in and you want to look for ideas, you want to create better content than the next person, whether that be added text, better visuals, more videos, more links to bigger sites. You're not creating something that's not in this world. You're creating something based off what someone else has that's selling well. You're making your product 5 or 10 times better to then stand out in an industry, whether you can price or you can price much lower than the market, so you can be a price setter as opposed to a price changer. And I think what it comes down to with all of the people who maybe haven't started this, Jace, to be fair, they might be thinking, look, I have to create something from scratch here. I can't create something like this, but I just like to confirm to everyone that that's not the process. We are looking for books online. We're looking for products on Amazon.com.us, UK.de in Germany, and we're just making those products better, Jace. That's all we're doing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's essentially it. I mean, if you look at movies, for example, or anything, like basically movies are the same 7 or 8 different kind of plots. And that's kind of how we look at books too. I mean, there's more book categories, there's more FBA categories, but yeah, I mean, I had a friend over here yesterday. He was talking about doing an invention and going on Shark Tank and doing this stuff. I'm like, dude, that's a lottery ticket. You're playing the lottery. That might hit, but I like to, it's like Warren Buffett. He's like, I like to, invest in sure things. And this is an investment, whether it is your time, it's your money. So you got to look at it like, I want the highest probability to make my return on investment. So yeah, you're right, dude. You have to pick the stuff that is proven. Now, again, you don't want to just copy verbatim what people are. That's where people were getting in trouble. They were copying verbatim and kind of getting, messed up. And, again, what Chris is saying is improve upon that process. When I do a YouTube video, I'll look at, okay, what kind of video am I going to do? And then how do I want to put the keyword title? And how do I want to put the description and the thumbnail and all that? Because at the end of the day, we're vying for attention. There's so much, stuff out there that, like, you've got Facebook and computers and phone. Everybody's got their attention in 100 different places. So in order for us to, as entrepreneurs and business people, we have to get in front of our customers, and it has to be, we have to be smart about what we do. So
Jace, this is a question that I've been kind of racking my brains with too. I remember back in 2014, I remember outsourcing an ebook on Fiverr, so Fiverr.com, and that book I got 25 pages, I believe. And that was back then, and I'm going to say that wasn't the highest quality of book. Like, it could have been much better. All I'm wondering now, over the course of the 2.5, 3 years since that point, how much are people actually looking at a high quality book from the likes of Upwork.com, Freelancer? And can you just give a bit of because that would really help to confirm some stuff in my head as well.
Yeah, I mean, you can still find quality writers on Upwork. What I like to do is just find one or two that are really good. You're going to have to, like they say, you're going to have to kiss a lot of frogs sometimes. Not necessarily. If you do it right, you put the right ad, excuse me, and you are willing to, sometimes you're going to have to pay for quality. Now, sometimes what I like to do is, if I'm working with one writer, I like to work out like a deal. Like, I'm like, hey, I'm going to be giving you a ton of quality work, a ton of work, producing a lot of different books, a lot of different articles. Can you cut me a deal? Can you give me some type of group or, group rate or whatever, bulk discount, if you will? So that's what I like to do, and keep your circle kind of tight. Like, where I got messed up in Kindle was I would have like 10 different writers going at one time. Like, when I was really cranking out books, and that just got to be too much. I was just like trying to manage all these people. But when I got one or two that were consistently producing quality content, then that's when my business got better. My stress levels went down. So yeah, I would go to Upwork. Fiverr, I mean, you could probably go on there. I don't like using Fiverr for writing gigs too much. I like to use them for ebook covers. And then freelancer.com as well. So those are where I would start.
Awesome. That's good. That's good advice. So guys, that is Upwork.com, and you want to do that for more content writing stuff, and then Fiverr, double R at the end, for more ebook covers type stuff, right? So yeah, I know a lot of people want to talk more about, this is a few of the messages that so people are asking, are websites relevant at the moment? Like, with Facebook, and I see, like, with Zon Life Success, I started out with a blog, and I'm trying to transition that into more of a kind of website base where it can be more professional, more information that's accessible to people that just want to click on my website and not contact me directly, look through my massive amount of posts on my news feed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking, for new businesses online, Facebook, Twitter, and stuff like that is powerful enough to take over the actual website platform. What people are like racking their brains about all of this?
Yeah, I think, there's something to that, but I still think you have to have, like, if you're going to do like me and you were doing, and having sort of a brand and a personal brand, you definitely have to have a website. Like, that's how you're going to sell your product. I mean, you're selling your Amazon Superstar program and your other programs, based off a website. They go to Zon Life Success, and then they come over and, they get to know Chris, they get to follow your YouTube. So I definitely think if you're, but if you're not doing what Chris and I are doing, where we're trying to, do courses and programs and kind of have a public facing, you can do most of your stuff without a website. You don't need, I've got this guy who's making, he's selling almost $1 million. He's a 16-year-old guy named Justin, and he's selling million on a e-commerce platform. And he's in our Facebook group, and the guy's making a ton of money, and he's known a little bit, but he's not like a YouTuber or anything like that. So you don't need it if you're doing it that way. But for guys like you and I, we definitely need it.
Yeah, I agree. And coming back to all of that brand stuff now, I talk a lot about, obviously there's two types of, a lot of other feature sources of branding, but in terms of the two main types of branding, I think, are the face branding, where you'll be the face of the brand, like you, Jason, are the face of your brand. Me, Chris Jones, and the face of Zone Life Success. Then you've got the face which goes on with Amazon FBA. Then you've just got maybe a landing page to collect emails, but there's no actual face value behind that brand. Such as if we were running a coffee company and it was just called, Coffee Kings, and there was no face behind the brand. And, to me, I've done two types of those businesses, and I currently do run two types of those businesses. Which do you think overall is more powerful in terms of maybe profitability, exposure, and just in your opinion, how do you think other people would benefit from each of them?
So you're talking about like one being like a person being the head figure, and then two kind of just being just a business without the person. Man, I think, yeah, so I think you could do it both ways. I mean, but I still think it's better to have a person, because even if you look at like Coca-Cola, right, they still use celebrity endorsements. They still use people to represent, even like companies like McDonald's, which aren't healthy, but they still try to use people to, show that brand in a positive light. So I think anytime you can put a face to a brand, it's better. Anytime I've tried to like kind of like go undercover and just kind of like hide out and not be in front of my audience, people stop coming. People stop, buying my products. They don't know where I'm at. But as the minute I start doing YouTube videos and adding value back into the community, you start getting that buzz going, and that's where I reconnected with you. I'm like, damn, this Chris guy is all over the place, man. So you start to build. No, for real, dude. I'm like, and I love it, dude. I'm like, this guy is just like popping up in my news feed. I see him on YouTube. I see him, here and there. I'm like, man, this guy that coffee is getting him going, man. So
that's like, that's where at the start of like Zone Life Success, and like I haven't been running it for too long. And in terms of when I say Zone Life Success, I really mean like Chris Jones. I really mean me. And like I've developed all the social media stuff that goes on, and I just think it really does come down to like shining bright with your personality, showing all full light, so that other people who are people, they're not robots. It's like I keep telling people, they're people trusting people. People like to talk to people. People listen to people. And that's one of the things with when you're running an actual product business. And this goes back to like Kindle, Chase, like the author pages on Kindle. That Amazon put those pages there for a reason. They want the author to be behind their page. If there's just a book and it's done by, Alexandra Jones, or whatever the pen name is, and they look into an author profile and it's invisible, then the conversions of that purchase. And I think it works for all facets of life and not just business. A face is like the most powerful thing that you can have behind something. And just by marketing yourself and having your own personality and what that you want is exactly the way to go. So I think that's, if someone wants to start really looking to like the face of being the brand, because I think that'll serve you well into the future.
I think so, man. And yeah, like you don't have to be perfect. You don't I've made videos and I've done stuff, man, that I'm like, dude, this is not my best work. I'm like, a lot of times I don't even like watching my videos because I'm like, oh man, I'm like, but just getting it out there. And some people will tell me like, dude, I like your videos because you're not doing a lot of like editing and you're not doing a lot of like over the top stuff. It's just you talking to me. And I feel like you're in my living room. And so that's kind of where, I'm trying to go now. It's just like having conversations and not trying to be too over the top with everything.
Yeah, I agree. So let's draw back to the Kindle stuff. I want to talk about I've been through it and it's awesome. There's a lot of content, a lot of high quality content that's going to take me. So can you just give a little bit of structure behind I know you put structure within your course that shows like the breakdown from the book selection to managing the VAs, which is virtual assistants. And can you just give like a breakdown of how that kind of structure works, Jace? Because that's going to help a lot of people out.
Like just managing people and managing your workers and stuff like that?
Just like the process from looking on Amazon for a book and then just all in like a couple of minutes, just short and sweet, if you like.
Yeah, sure. So what I would do is what we discussed earlier is get an idea from the top, 100 bestsellers. Let's just use an example that I use all the time, that I use successfully is coconut oil. Okay. So that book, that's actually how I found one of those. So I would say, okay, I want to write a book on coconut oil, or rather I'd want my ghostwriter to write this book for me. So I'd get that and I would send off the information to the ghostwriter. I say, I want a book on coconut oil. I want you to, sometimes I would lay the table of contents out for them. Sometimes if they were good, they could do it themselves. And so I would give them the general structure, and I would say, I want you to focus on, if I did it for like weight loss, I would specifically tell them to make this heavily focused on weight loss. So then they would start writing it. And then once I send that off, I'm going right over to Fiverr and I'm getting my ebook cover done. So both of these things are going in motion at the same time. At that point, really, I'm just waiting for those two pieces of content to come back to me. Okay, I'm waiting for the book cover to come back, waiting for the PDF or the document to come back. Then I'm going to run it through a website called PlagiScan, PlaGSCAN, to make sure there's no plagiarized material. Now, once you get a good writer and you know that they're solid, usually you don't have to worry about that because they're going to be legitimate. But if you're working with a new person, you definitely want to do that. At that point, if everything checks out, I'm pretty much just uploading the book right onto Amazon. And that takes, 15 to 20 minutes. It's cool now because you can even upload the paperback and the ebook in the same thing at the same time. So that saves you some time. And then I'm going through my keyword research. I'm making sure I have the right keywords in there. I usually have my writer write out the description for me. That saved me a lot of time because I used to have to write the descriptions. And I'm okay. I'm a decent copywriter, but that takes some time. So, and geez, at that point, you just set your book on a promotional. So you could do the 5-day free promo. I used to do that a lot. You could do a Kindle countdown deal. You can book some gigs on Fiverr for them to help you promote, which, I know people are getting some success with that. But that's it, man. It's really not that complicated. It doesn't take, much kind of brain thought to do this. You just have to be a good, you have to research, you have to make sure you get the right niche and, hire some good people. But after that, it's pretty easy to scale.
Jace, with all the keyword stuff, now I focus a lot on the product page listing within Amazon FBA stuff. So what we were just talking about then, guys, was Kindle. Now I'm relating this back to Amazon. Amazon FBA, I focus a lot on kind of keywords on the actual listing front. Is there the same relation of adding keywords into your description and title with a Kindle book to be able to show up and be more exposed on the search engine for Kindle?
Yeah, that's one thing. That's a good point. Yeah, I definitely touch on that because that's how people are going to find you. It goes back to being visible. It's going back to getting in front of your audience. So yes, definitely focus on the title. I think the relevance goes like title and then, your subtitle, obviously with the keywords and then your description, in that order. I think and then obviously within, when you upload it to the dashboard, I think you can use, 7 keywords now. Where people were messing this up is they were kind of stuffing keywords. I'm sure you've seen this in the FBA land where people just, you have to make it seem like you have to write it for a human, not a computer. So if you're doing a coconut oil book, you would see people that had the word coconut oil in their title three or 4 times. And Amazon is eventually going to shut you down for that. So, definitely make sure you get that right.
Good stuff. Jace, hit us with some numbers. What has been your highest month to date on Kindle?
On Kindle, Gosh, probably 20 grand. 20,000 is my,
Ooh.
that's when I was hitting it super hard. Nowadays, I'm anywhere between 7 and 10,000 when you take into consideration Create Space and then your audio books and then obviously the Kindle books. So
Nice.
I don't talk too much numbers anymore because I was talking some numbers back in the day and that's all people were focused on. I don't mind talking about it, but yeah, what I would tell people definitely now is to for sure make sure you put books on ACX, so your audio books, and then your paperback books. Those two avenues right there will, anytime I do coaching or anything like that, I'm like, you have to do that. I was like, me telling you that, even though it's simple, will pay for this coaching call because you will make money off those two formats for sure.
Awesome. And one of the differences between Amazon FBA and Kindle Direct Publishing, and what I think that when the platforms, while they seem so similar, they're so different in the respect of re-inventory and just actual costs of a business. With Kindle, Jace, the only re-cost of the business, correct me if I'm wrong, is increasing the value of current books on shelf or adding to books on shelf. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean that's the cost you're gonna spend. I mean, you're gonna pay is to get more books. Is you're gonna have to, you can write them yourself. That just, for me, that takes time. I mean, for anybody, that's gonna take time. So I prefer to have them ghostwritten. And a lot of people were giving me a lot of flack about that. I'm like, dude, there's a lot of ghostwriters out there, and you don't even know you're writing a book. There's books on this bookshelf. I've got bookshelves all over my house that are probably written by, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I guarantee you, the Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding, I'm sure he wrote some. You're in the fitness world too. I bet you he wrote some of that, but I bet you didn't write that whole book, So
he definitely took the photos. Someone took the photos for him.
But that guy is actually kind of off topic, man. He's the guy. If you want to study success, man, you study Arnold Schwarzenegger. That dude went from, he conquered almost every freaking industry there is, so.
Yeah, he's a beast. He's a beast. And what were we talking about? Go on BA stuff. So there's two different factors with Kindle and Amazon. With Kindle, there's not much reinvestment if you don't want to plug money back into it. If you just want to sit tight, maintain your current books until you want to reinvest to grow your, the value of everything and put more money in your pocket and in the business. But with Amazon FBA, there is re-cost of inventory, and there can be unexpected costs within all of the stock that you go into. There's PPC spend. I know Kindle has brought that on now. That's pay-per-click, guys. And there's, the margins can lead up to sometimes more if you price your product right on Amazon FBA. But the majority of those, the net margins, guys, you're probably sitting around 32% as an average on Amazon FBA, for anyone wondering. With Kindle, it's 70% if you're public. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not the expert in this area. 70% commission from Amazon Kindle if you publish your own book. It's like a non-public domain. Yeah. And then a public domain book would get you 30 or 35% commission based off every sale, if I'm correct. And then the difference between Amazon FBA and Kindle is, you tell me, Jace, how often you get paid by Kindle, but Amazon FBA pays you every 2 weeks.
Kindle is every month, right? Currently right now. So they do take a little bit more time to get you, they do take you a little bit more time to get the money. But I think that's just because it takes, to calculate all the payments, I think it takes longer. So, but once you get it going, it comes every month. So.
Awesome. So, Jace, tell us a bit about your course, because I know I'm tapping into it and I'm in the first few sets. So tell us what else we can expect with the course, and dive in, give us some wondering about Kindle, because it's still a massive opportunity for everyone. And I know from people that have been on Facebook Live, they're so interested in all of this. Jason is the guy to go to. So listen to him about his course. Jason, just explain some of the processes you put into this.
Yeah, so I teamed up with an individual friend and obviously a business partner named Dale Roberts, who he's crushing it right now. He's actually a guy who writes his own books. So and the guy has, I want to say, 7 or 8 international bestsellers. So he's written a ton of books that have hit the charts and made him quite a good income. So when I was crafting this course, I'm like, yeah, I can bring all I bring to the table about, outsourcing VAs, how to do this, how to do that. But it would be nice to collaborate with a person who is writing the book. So we wanted to create Self-Publishing University as a complete, full stop, everything you need will be under this roof. So we've got 11 modules, 90 videos and counting. We're releasing new videos every week into the course to give people an opportunity to learn this business and hopefully provide a stable income for themselves and their family. And, like we talked about with courses, if you go down to the local community college, you're going to spend $700 or $800 to take one class on, basic math. And it's like, and people look at these courses and they're like, that's a lot of money. But I say, dude, you can actually go in there, learn something, and make so much more money from the comfort of your own home or from your phone, So if your audience or my audience is interested in checking that out, just go to spuniversity.net/enroll, and you guys can check out, what we have to offer. And hopefully you jump on board and we get some more success stories rolling in.
Awesome. Yeah, Jason, I'm sure pop a link wherever, and also check out Jason's YouTube channel, Jason Bracht, Bracht. It's not life success. And hopefully we can put some more value, some more knowledge and stuff from there. Me and Jason were talking before the call, and because Jason's got so much knowledge on a variety of industries, and I'm pretty clued up on a few industries. We thought it'd be great to get an ongoing collab together called the Chris and Jason Show, a potential name for it. And
it was on the spot. I'm like, what can we call this? And I'm like,
I like it. And so we're thinking of doing this on a monthly basis, and hopefully that'll bring some more value to you guys as well. So keep an eye out for everything else. And Jace, if you've got nothing else to add, we'll let these good people
one
go.
more thing, man. Where can they find you? I mean, we talked a little bit about it. I definitely want to dive in a little bit to talk about your Amazon FBA course, because you did, I ended up going through that. So I'm excited to check that out myself. So maybe you can talk a little bit about that for my audience over here on YouTube.
Yeah. So again, so I set up my business in May 2015. I think it's always good, maybe it's a short and sweet story, just because so many people on the internet these days who are selling courses, and it just becomes like another course. Oh, he's selling a course, he's selling a course, she's selling a course. And my story has led from 2015, May 16th of 2015, and that's when I set up my first company. And I got into the Amazon business model after the Kindle stuff. So for first sale, which is all on Amazon UK, I set up a supplement company and a coffee company, and I produce UK and the US to sell on the UK platform on Amazon. I've done all the research. I hustled my ass off for 6 months trying to learn all the process of Amazon and all of the stuff that was going on around me in terms of people telling me not to do it. It was BS talk everywhere. I just decided to focus my attention and just go for it, just get it done, whatever the outcome. So fast forward, I went live with my first product on 8th of August back in 2015, and that first day made me 92 sales. So 92 sales got me off with my fat of my supplement. I'd made over £2,000 in less than 24 hours, which would have took me, near 5 to 6 weeks of my old job to make. I know there's margins and stuff like that. In terms of sales velocity, £2,000 UK. And obviously I remember sitting there on my sofa and I was just thinking, I was looking at my sales dashboard, and it was the first day of launch, and I was thinking, this is crazy. This is crazy. How is this? It's like a get rich quick scheme that people don't believe, but it's actually happened. It's actually formed into reality. Fast forward to where we are now. To me, I don't talk about numbers too much, but then I don't shy away from them if people want to know either. I just turned over £315,000 UK in the last 18 months, so shy of 2 years. All of that's been done. I created, at one stage, 20 products on market. Now, I didn't make a big financial mistake like 8 months ago where I released 6 products to market in one give and take, and that actually cost, you know, upwards of £16,000 to £18,000 for the business. That almost put the business out. So that's why I recommend so much on the product selection phase and all of the processes step by step by step going forward. So moving on to where we are now. In October, I released the Amazon Superstar course, which is a full version course, a step-by-step breakdown, teaching people how to sell on Amazon. And I had to create my courses, and I've only got 2. It's really the subsection of that, and I've got the product selection and perfection. I like to write it with a very personal angle, to put a lot of character into it. This is how you do this. So do this, you know, too many people are doing that these days. Betray your personality, get people to like you, and you know, that's just where it comes from. So yeah, the Amazon Superstar is a full breakdown, including, you know, I'm thinking of the modules. There's so many modules that go into it, including all the bonuses. It's consistent content, and you know, this isn't a sales pitch. This is just me talking about something that I pursued nearly 2 years ago, and now I've created, teaching people how to do it as well. You know, I've got some very successful clients on board, one of them being Ben. He came over earlier for a chat. He's released 1 product in the UK, and he's now averaging 15 sales per day in one market with 1 product. And you know, he's making over £200 a day in sales with 40% net margins by just going through the course. And you know, more so, I couldn't care less about what money it brings, as long as I'm able to sit in here, you know, and do my thing, put a smile on my face, drink my coffee, help people, you know, and it all just comes from there. You know, it's just that entrepreneurial mind is that's the biggest thing to me. So for anyone else who wants to check out my course, my new website is forming at the moment. That is www.zonelifesuccess.com. At the moment, it's more blog style. In the next 2 weeks, there'll be a full functioning website, and I have my courses on there for people to click and buy. But if you want to contact me, I'm very accessible on Facebook. That's Chris Jones on Facebook, and you can reach out to me anytime. Facebook's like my life, and I'm never off there, so please feel free to give me a message. So that's a bit of a backstory. And yeah, so that's where I am at the moment.
Well, I'm pumped up, man. You got me ready to dive into the course, dude, because I know that the one thing about FBA that I do know is that you can really scale that thing going and get it going and make a lot of money, as you've proven and helped a lot of people. So I will put a link directly below for you guys to check out that course, because yeah, we connected a couple days ago, so I haven't had a chance to go through the full thing, man, but it's definitely laid out in a real cool way, really accessible. So I'm excited to see some of my people go through that, man, and hopefully get some success, because we love hearing it. So, but yeah, man, it's been a blast talking to you, dude.
Yeah, it's been good. And just before we go, Jace, I just want to talk 2 minutes about some of the points that people are really struggling on with the product selection phase on Amazon, and probably the same on Kindle. And that's, again, like we talked about earlier, we're not reinventing the wheel. We are not doing anything different from anybody else. We're just creating a product that's already on market. I know we spoke about this. I just want to drill this into people's heads, and we're just making it better. So whether that be, you know, whether that be a coffee glass that is on market and they're selling 1 glass in a pack and it's $9.99, bring out 2 glasses with a different style and insert that offers something different. All we're doing is factoring in some bonus material for people to buy your product over. So don't just jump into a product that I have done in the past and cost yourself financially, not just financial, but in time as well. Focus on the process, which is product selection, exactly like the Kindle books that you've had great success in, and patience. Be patient with the process, focus in, look at all your competitors, make it better, and then get samples sent out. So Jace, I hope that's been helpful. I know we'll catch up on the Amazon FBA front soon, but for now, all good.
We'll call it a wrap, dude. We'll end it, man, and I think we'll do this every month, man. So we'll or every couple of weeks, man, depending on what the viewers are wanting. So
yeah. Well, hey, cheers, Jace. So we're just ending Facebook Live. People, we're out. Jason, thank you so much for your time. I'll speak to you soon.
All right, bro. See you later.
Awesome.